Hey everyone, welcome back. I hope you guys had a great Friday. Today is Saturday. A couple of things I want to talk to you guys about is obviously we'll take a look at Bitcoin, but the things I want to talk to you about is gas prices going up, which is obviously causing Tesla to have its orders, having a huge increase in orders for new vehicles, electric vehicles, that is. Then we also have a story on Bitcoin ATMs being banned in Great Britain. We'll take a look at that. And Goldman Sachs is now providing Ethereum to their high net worth individuals or investors that they provide services to. So we'll take a look at that, and then we'll also take a look at obviously the miners versus Bitcoin, see how they did for the week. And as always, this is not financial advice. You know the rest of it. Invest in the following companies and coins for full disclosure. So let's get into Bitcoin first, and then we'll get into the other stories here. So Bitcoin right now is at 39,128. It has been trading sideways for the past about 12, 14 hours or so, 16 hours maybe or so, almost a day. It's been trading sideways. RSI has been trading sideways as well. So this leads me to think there is really no direction in the market right now as far as which way it wants to go up. There's a lot of indecision in the market. We don't have a lot of sellers. We don't have a lot of buyers. So we're just trading flat right now. We'll have to see how this plays out. This is on the 1 hour chart. On the 4 hour chart, we're seeing the same thing happening here. We obviously had that peak here when we found out about the President Biden executive order. And then obviously we had the escalation with Ukraine and Russia, and that obviously drove prices down again. So it's been a wild ride over the last couple of days, weeks, and even months. If we look far enough out, we can see that we've been obviously going down, but we've kind of flatlined here a little bit, and we're trading between these ranges here between 37,500 and 44,700. It looks like we bounced off of these, multiple times here. It looks like in the past couple of weeks. I think that trend is going to continue until we actually get some either positive news or either the war in Ukraine ends, which I think will be a catalyst for Bitcoin to go up. But right now we're in just Neverland, where we're just trading between these peaks here. So we'll keep an eye on it, see how it goes forward. Let's take a look at Ethereum as well. Ethereum has been doing the same thing here. Ethereum is at 2,588 right now on the 4 hour chart. Let's take a look at the 1 hour chart, and we'll zoom in here on it. And we're trading sideways as well on it. There's no real direction as far as which way it wants to go. There's no catalyst to drive it up higher or lower right now. So people are just on the sidelines, keeping an eye on, see what's going to happen in the news and things like that. So we'll keep an eye on it as well. So let's get into the main story here, which is gas prices. So will gas prices stop rising? More record highs expected at the pump. Everybody is obviously paying more for gas. I paid $5.35 to fill up my tank, which was premium gas, which my car needs, unfortunately. So that obviously was felt in my pocket. I'm sure it's being felt in your pockets as well. So let's see what they have to say here as far as, is this going to be a continuing trend that we're going to see? Are we going to see some relief going forward? And I'll provide you with my thoughts on it as well. So gas prices continue to shock the nation as war in Ukraine continues and the U.S. bans Russian oil. The average price of gas in the States has spiked, setting record highs for 5 days in a row. On Saturday, the average gas price in America finally dropped half a cent per AAA, yet it still sits at an all-time high of $4.33 a gallon. The 7th day in a row, it's been more than $4. And how much is gas costing you now? So it depends heavily, obviously, on the type of car you drive, how much you drive, and how far you're driving. In addition, gasoline usage has varied widely in the past 2 years as the pandemic drove demand down, which we've obviously witnessed. The typical U.S. family owns 2 cars, right? Taking an average of 15-gallon gas tank filled up once a week, that works out to $2,244 more per year spent on gasoline in 2021, which is substantial, right? That's usually a very nice vacation someplace, or being able to do something to your house, whatever it might be, but that's obviously taken away from that. So we're spending less on other things. So here's how much a typical single driver is spending on gas compared with last week, last month, and last year. So today, gas was $4.33. You were spending about $65. 1 week ago, $59. 1 month ago, we were at $52. 1 year ago, we were at $43 a week to fill up. On a yearly cost basis, that's basically, today would be, you're spending about $3,337. per gasoline. 1 week ago, you were spending 3,058, and then 1 month ago, you would have been spending 2,722, and 1 year ago, 2,215. So obviously, we've seen the increases, and I think they're going to get worse here before they get better. So how high will gas prices go? So in California, gas is already averaging $5.73 a gallon, which is huge, and it's above the national average in at least another 18 states. The next threshold analysts are keeping an eye out for is $4.50 a gallon nationwide. Patrick DeHaan, Gas Buddy head of petroleum analysis, predicts that inflated prices will be here for months. And I actually can agree with this. I don't see this ending anytime soon until we actually start getting more oil being pumped out of the ground. And that is obviously a pretty contentious topic in itself. So Americans have never seen gasoline prices this high, nor have we seen the pace of increase so fast and furious. The combination makes this a situation all the more remarkable and intense, DeHaan said in a statement. So we know President Biden has announced a ban on Russian oil imports. The U.S. government's Energy Information Administration now predicts Brent oil will average over $100 a barrel for the remainder of 2022. But the agency added its forecast could change greatly if additional European countries sanction Russian oil, which they have not yet. European countries get a lot of their oil from Russia, and that would be obviously a big hit if they stop getting that to their own economies. Borjornar Tunna, I'm going to not be able to pronounce this, Tunhagen, head of oil markets for Rystad Energy, says that if enough European countries join the embargo, oil could hit $240 a barrel by the summer. That's going to be painful if that happens. Even at $200 a barrel, experts see gasoline prices averaging around $5.84 per gallon, which is still a lot. According to NPR, oil at $240 would trigger a global recession later this year, which is also true. Tunhagen said at that point demand would be forced down, he added, and the price would fall steeply, which is also true. So the higher the price goes, the demand's going to go down because people are not going to be traveling as much. So the higher the prices go, the larger the chances of the global economy entering a recession already in the fourth quarter of 2022, he said. So we're still in the first quarter here, so we're only 2 quarters away or so before we would possibly be getting into a recession, which wouldn't be good. So what's making gas prices soar? So obviously the Russian invasion and the responding escalating series of financial sanctions by the U.S. and its allies have given the global oil market the jitters. So there's a lot of obviously speculation going on in the market. AAA spokesman Andrew Gross said in a statement, but here, what does he say? Here he says, inflation has been an issue for some time as well, and the cost of gas tends to rise in spring anyway as refineries undergo maintenance before the summer driving season. So that is obviously adding to it. They've also had supply and demand imbalance for a while, and it will remain regardless of whether the conflict goes away, he said. So if everything, next week, Russia stops invading Ukraine and goes back to being normal, it's still going to be a pretty difficult season for us. As it has in every industry, the pandemic has led to staffing issues at refineries as well. They can't find people and can't find equipment. Robert McNally, president of the consulting firm Repident Energy Group, told CNN it's not likely they're available at a premium price. They're just not available. So that's the other part of it, is you just don't have the manpower to pull more oil if you wanted to, especially in the United States here. You also don't, I guess, have now products that you need, supplies to do it as well. So all of these shortages and everything else is contributing to the higher oil prices as well, not just because of the conflict that's going on between Ukraine and Russia. So I don't know if that's going to get any better anytime soon. We've seen obviously higher prices for trucking, for shipments, for wages. Everything is going up, and I think it's just going to continue on. So let's continue on here. So a colder winter across North America has also led to higher demand for heating oil, and pandemic-driven online shopping has taxed diesel, which fuels all those trucks. As a result, gas was predicted to surpass $4 a gallon even before the Ukraine crisis. So we were going to be here anyways. This crisis has basically accelerated a lot faster and more shock in the system. So when will gas prices go down again? Gas prices will likely continue to ratchet up for the next few months, if not longer. Experts say when they stop depends greatly on how the situation in Ukraine unfolds, and that is partially true as well. And then down here, there was something else. Yeah. So how can consumers save at the gas station? There's not much we can do to change the price of gas, but drivers can cut down on unessential trips and shop around the best price, even crossing the state line if that's not inconvenient. Apps like Gas Guru scan for the best gas prices in your region. Others like Fuel Log track your car's gas mileage and can help you determine if it's getting decent fuel economy. In addition, many gas stations chains have loyalty programs, and credit cards have reward programs that give cash back for purchases. Something else that will also help out is making sure that you have your tires properly inflated. That is a big thing that can increase your fuel economy. If your tires are not properly inflated, that's going to cause it as well. So inflate your tires properly to the proper manufacturer's details. That will help out. When the cost of crude rises, prices at the pump tend to reflect it very quickly, he said, but gas prices tend to linger higher longer even when crude falls. And that's because the price has been in the market and the old price of gasoline has to go out basically before the new prices start coming in. So it looks like it's going to be an unpleasant spring, summer, and possibly fall for everybody that's using cars, internal combustion engine cars. But we're obviously seeing spikes in demand for electric cars. And here's my thought on it. So I could be totally off on this. I think that the gas companies are seeing the trend change from internal combustion engines to electric vehicles. And I think this is kind of like their last hurrah, where they're going to actually be able to make a sizable amount of money while they still can. Because as more and more people transition over to electric cars, that demand for fuel and everything else is going to go down. So they're obviously not going to be able to make that much. And, whether it's going to be in the next 15, 20 years or 30 years that, we're all electric, that's going to have a huge impact on them. It's going to drive the demand way down. So I think this is kind of like their last hurrah to make as much money as they can possibly. So that's why they don't really want to pump more, because why would you want to pump more to bring the gas price down when you don't have to pump more? You can keep a lot of the profits. So that's kind of my cynical side of me, kind of what I think might be actually happening here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, but that's kind of my thoughts on it. Next, obviously, Tesla is seeing its orders rate surge in the U.S., according to sources familiar with the matter, as the record gas prices are turning more people toward electric vehicles. To be honest, I'm looking for an electric vehicle. Regular cars are going up in price. Used cars are going up in price. If this continues on, this is going to accelerate the push for people to get into electric cars. But electric cars are going up in price too, because everything else is going up in price. We have inflation going on. So let's continue on here. So, however, it won't significantly affect its delivery since the automaker is still production constraint. So they're having a hard time getting parts in, things like that they need to make their cars. Now, many of them who are in position to buy a new car are turning toward electric vehicles, some out of frustration, others because they are making the cost of ownership calculation and realize that it is actually cheaper than a gas-powered car. Right now, if you're paying $4 and something to close to $5 to fill up your car, it's going to cost you, I don't know what the equivalent is. I think it's like 50 cents or something like that, to 50 cents to $1 to charge up your car, basically. So I think that's where the calculation is being made. So the savings are there right now, and especially if the price goes up even higher on gasoline, you're going to see even more savings going forward. Tesla is the biggest EV brand in the U.S. by a long shot. About 80% of all electric cars in the country are Tesla vehicles. And unsurprisingly, the company is starting to feel an increase in orders from gas price pressure. Sources familiar with the matter told Electric that Tesla is seeing surges in orders in several parts of the U.S. this week. Sources familiar with Tesla's order rates said that the automaker saw it increase 100% this week compared to last in parts of the country particularly affected by gas prices. So you're seeing that shift, which is, I think, going to accelerate the shift over to electric vehicles more with the gas prices being up as high as they are. However, the surge in orders is not going to affect Tesla's performance in the short term, as the automaker already has a significant backlog of orders and is in production constraint. So if you're a Tesla investor, this is obviously great news because they are going to have more vehicles that they have to produce towards the future part of it, but this is not going to affect their capability to produce what they can right now. So they can still only produce X amount of cars, but they're going to be producing those for much longer now, okay? So that was kind of interesting. I just want to point that out to you guys. Which I think is going to also help out other competitors as well, like Rivian, Ford, GM is getting into the electric cars. It's going to help those guys out as well. And then we have Bitcoin ATMs declared illegal in the UK by financial regulators. So I was a little bit surprised by this. And Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies ATMs that allow people to buy and sell crypto are illegal in the UK, according to a letter made public on Friday by Britain's Financial Conduct Authority. What this means, anyone currently operating a Bitcoin ATM is doing so illegally and will have to stop, according to government regulators. So crypto ATMs offering crypto asset exchange services in the UK must be registered with us and comply with UK money laundering regulations, the Financial Conduct Authority announced on its website. So this is more that you got to know your customer, right? I've been saying about this regulation is going to be happening, and we're going to be getting a crackdown on all of this. They're going to want to know who's buying what crypto, how much they're buying it. They might make it a little bit easier. They might say, if it's under $100 or under $500, you don't have to do it. But anything above that, they will need to have KYC, know your customer things included in that. So none of the crypto asset firms registered with us have been approved to offer crypto ATM services, meaning that any of them operating in the UK are doing so illegally, and consumers should not be using them, the FCA continued. Here's an interesting stat. So Coin ATM Tracker claims there are currently only 84 in the UK, so the ATMs. The same website lists over 34,000 crypto ATMs in the US alone. That is a huge difference between US and obviously UK. By far the largest number in the world. So obviously, U.S. is looking to be more crypto-friendly, but we'll have to see how this plays out in the U.S. also, because we may have the same thing happen here, where regulators are going to start cracking down on ATMs for fraudulent activity, knowing your customer, money laundering, all that stuff. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. And then finally, we got this here from Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs now is offering high net worth investors access to Bitcoin and Ethereum. We knew they were offering Bitcoin, but just recently, in a filing with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission this week, shows Goldman will expand its crypto offering to include Ethereum for big money investors. That does not include you and I, unless you are an accredited investor with over $250,000 that you can spend. So key points here. I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but basically the filing with the SEC shows Goldman Sachs will provide access to Ethereum for its largest investors with a minimum deposit of $250,000. Last June, Goldman offered a Bitcoin futures vehicle to its top clients. Nothing in the document suggests any such offerings are in the works for everyday investors looking to access crypto, because if you're not an accredited investor, you're too stupid to be able to invest in these things, I guess. It's kind of the hypocrisy. It's where the money that is wealthy money will continue to make more money than the rest of us, like you and I, right? So this is great. That's why I don't use Goldman Sachs, but nonetheless, this is what it is. So I just wanted to point that out. If you are a high net worth investor, good for you guys. You guys can actually use this and be able to buy Ethereum, but why would you do that when you can buy Ethereum through Coinbase, Gemini, FTX, Webull, anybody out there? So this is kind of a moot point here. All right, so let's take a look at the Bitcoin miners here, see how they did for the week against Bitcoin. So Bitcoin finished out the week here at, let's do this by the product, sort descending. So Bitcoin was at 38,784 yesterday, Friday. This is when we checked these on. Argo was at 80 cents. Bitfarms was at $3.25. CleanSpark was at $9.93. Core Scientific at $7.46. DigiHost was at $2.60. DMG was at 48 cents. Hive was at $1.72. Hut was at $4.99. Iris was at $17.33. Marathon at $22.49. Mawson was at $3.24. Riot was at $15.14. The ones here that are blue are the ones that have already provided their February production updates. I'm still waiting on Mawson. Mawson is always the lagger here that I'm always waiting on. So once I get Mawson's information, we'll then do a miner versus miner comparison, see how they're stacking up, which ones are undervalued, which ones are overvalued, and we'll look at it that way. But looking on the 1 week gains here, Bitcoin was down basically $342.63. Argo was up 2 cents. Bitfarms was down 19 cents. CleanSpark was up actually 60 cents. So was Core Scientific was up $1. DigiHost was down 60 cents. DMG was down 5 cents. Hive was down 6 cents from the prior week. Hut 8 was down 33 cents. Iris was actually up nicely, $2.91 here. Marathon was down 33 cents. Mawson was down 10 cents. And Riot was up 22 cents. So obviously the leaders here for the week as far as gains go would be Mawson, I believe. No, not Mawson, Iris. What am I talking about here? So leader was Iris Energy, followed by Core Scientific, CleanSpark, Argo, and Riot. So these guys here on the weekly chart are the best performing ones for the week. And then obviously everybody else here. And then Bitcoin was down 0.88% or so, and everybody else was worse. Worst performer here was DigiHost, followed by DMG and Hut8, which is kind of surprising. And that Hut8 had a pretty bad week here. But looking at the 4-week, if we look at it here, we can see that if you bought it 4 weeks ago, you'd be up on Iris. Let's do it by gains here. Sort descending. So the top performers, if you bought it 4 weeks ago, would be Iris Energy. You'd be up 28%, followed by CleanSpark, up 11.2%, and then DMG, 2.2%. Everybody else is down. And on the 4-week chart, we can see that DigiHost is the least, had the worst performance. Basically, it was down 18.75%, followed by Hut8, Hive as well, and then Riot, Argo, Core Scientific, and Mawson, Marathon, Bitfarms, and then Bitcoin. So these guys here are obviously doing a lot worse than Bitcoin is in the 4-week chart. And then on the 8-week chart, if we look at it, had you bought 8 weeks ago, you'd be in Iris. Wow, you'd be up 80% had you bought Iris Energy 8 weeks ago. That is a huge increase, along with CleanSpark, 55% in that time frame. But interesting to note that had you bought 12 weeks ago, on Iris, you'd be up only 1%, and CleanSpark, you'd be actually down 16%. So the only one that's up in the 12-week is Iris Energy right now. Everybody else is down. Bitcoin is down 23% from 12 weeks ago. Let's take a look, see how everybody stacked up on 12 weeks. So Iris is up 1%. CleanSpark is down 16%. Bitcoin is down 23%. Let's look at it here. There we go. So Bitcoin down 23% from 12 weeks ago. Core Scientific is down 34%. DMG is down 34%. Marathon is down 41%. Riot is down 41%. Argo is down 40%, almost 42%. Hut is down almost 43%. Hive is down almost 44%. Bitfarms is down 44% almost. DigiHost is down 46.5%. And then Mawson is down, looks like almost 60%. So wow, tough few basically months for them. Looking at the chart here, we can see all the ones that had a positive or a negative week in the charts. And right now, it looks like CleanSpark is having the most green weeks here out of the bunch that I can see, along with Iris Energy. Iris has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. CleanSpark has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, same. So CleanSpark and Iris have been doing the best here out of the bunch. But yeah, we'll have to see how this all plays out going into this week. Bitcoin is obviously in no man's land right now. It's not doing anything, so we'll see how that progresses this week. There isn't any catalyst that is going to move it forward, I don't think, at least not right now. There might be catalysts that move it down, depending on what happens between Russia and Ukraine. And then we'll see if we get any other news stories that happen to pop up. But obviously, let me know what you guys thought of the gas story, what you guys thought of it, and moving over to electric. How many are you actually planning to go electric within the next year or two? I'd be interested to know on that. And I think that's it. Let me know what you guys thought of the numbers here for the week versus week, for miners versus Bitcoin on the weekly time frame, and call it a day. Still working on Sphere 3D, Annie, doing a deep dive on them. I'll get that as soon as I can for you guys. I'm also doing remodeling here at the house, which is taking up some of my time as well. So hope you guys have a great weekend. If I don't post anything tomorrow, I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for watching. As always, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye.